All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Bakwak. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect and the 144,000 scattered across the four corners of the earth. Shalom to you. All right, in today's lesson, we're going to go into part 2 in the Chariots of Israel. And give you guys out there these these breakdowns in scriptures that let us know that, remember, the spaceships, the so-called UFOs, the so-called UAPs are in fact the Lord's vehicles. Okay, the Lord and the angels are inside those vehicles. So without further ado, let's get right into it. We're going to start off today in St. Matthew, chapter 24, verse 30 and verse 31. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn. So, the Lord is going to, Yahweh Shai is going to show up, and Yahweh Shai is going to show up in that spaceship, but out there in the Middle East first. Okay, because the Lord's going to arrive in the Middle East first, where the World War III is going to take place, the Battle Armageddon, which is going to be at the Saudi Arabia Peninsula, around that perimeter, around that region. And then he's going to make his way over here to the west. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn. Yeah, because whoever's not part of that elect, they're going to be mourning, And they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. So once again, it's referring to clouds again, but it's talking about the spaceships. Okay, it's not talking about ordinary clouds. Okay, this is talking about the spaceships, just like we read in part 1, the Chariots of Israel. Remember Revelation 1 and 7. Okay, behold, he comes with clouds. So it's talking about the spaceships. Because remember, the Lord's very poetic. Okay, the Lord speaks in riddles. You see? The Son of Man, and they shall see the Son of Man, Yahweh Shai, who the world stubbornly calls Jesus Christ, coming in the clouds of heaven. The clouds mean the spaceships, so-called UFOs, of heaven with power and great glory. Next verse, 31. And he shall send his angels, because the angels are inside those ships, with the great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. So not everybody, not the whole world, not the Edomites, not the heathen, okay, and not all Israel, only the elect. Because remember what happened last time? Okay, when the Lord saved us from the clutches of Pharaoh by using, his servant Moses and Aaron. All right, he, gave them, spiritual power, So, when the first Exodus, when the Lord saved us from the clutches of the Pharaoh, all right, when we were in brutal subjugation, he, what happened was that the Lord, at that time, he saved all Israel. Okay, but that's why the Lord said, not this time. Oh, heck no. Because remember what happened last time, you guys? What was it? It was the 2/3, were talking crap, in the background, after the Lord, rescued us, plagued Egypt, destroyed Pharaoh and his whole military. All right, performed all those miracles. Imagine that, imagine that, the Red Sea splitting in half, just to walk. Oh, and here's another FYI, by the way. When we crossed right there, because it was the Israelites, the Hebrew Israelites, that was us. When we crossed that, the Red Sea, back with Moses, he remember the floor. It wasn't like you guys see these movies in the Hollywood movies. You know how they have that one movie Exodus. Where I think his name is Ashton Kutcher or something like that. Who was he played as one of the Batmans. You know, I don't really know his name, but I remember they have him. They have a movie called Exodus, and they have that same character, that same actor that plays Batman. You know, play Moses, right? But they showed you in that movie that that there was like when they crossed the Red Sea, that there was like 2 or 3 feet of water, because when they crossed that, like the water was like low, but it was still kind of like up to their knees. No, that's not correct at all. When Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, you know um gave his a little bit of power to Moses, okay, because that's who Moses got his power from, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. When he split the Red Sea, okay, it was completely dry, like completely dry. The ground, it wasn't muddy, it wasn't like, okay, a foot of water where your feet got wet. Nothing. When we crossed the Red Sea, the ground was completely dry, not even muddy, nothing. You imagine that? You want to talk about, spiritual power, at its finest? Imagine that, so not only did he split the Red Sea, and it was, imagine two big old walls of water, and you're walking right before it. Imagine that, and then the ground, when we crossed, it was completely dry. That's just an FYI for you guys out there, those that are curious. All right, because, yeah, Hollywood, they try, but, they don't really get it on point. But that's all right. You know, that's why the prophets and teachers are here to, make that correction, and just, just tell you guys out there and your viewers out there, what really happened. But once again, that's up to you to if you can receive it or not. But our job is just to give you the message. What you do with it is entirely on you. You know what I'm saying? So that ground was completely dry. It wasn't like muddy, There wasn't like 2 feet of water where it came up to like our knees. Like, no, it was completely dry. Yeah. All right, so let's carry on. This is the book of Acts, chapter 1, verse 9 and 11. Verse 1. The book of Acts, chapter 1, verse 9 down to the 11th verse. And when he had spoken these things, while they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received them out of their sight. So when Yahushua left, he left in a spaceship, a chariot of Israel, a so-called UFO, a so-called UAP. Verse 10. Acts chapter 1, verse 10. And while they looked steadfastly toward heaven, as he went up, behold, two men stood by them in white apparel. It's talking about the angels. Those are not ordinary men. Which also said, Ye men of Galilee, why ye gazing up into heaven? Because to the angels it's normal that the ships, okay, but it's kind of like us. Like when we see the ships, like, yeah, we know what they are, but we get excited every time because we don't see them all the time. For the angels, it's just another day for them, because they're constantly in the ships. So this is why the angels are saying, what, because when people look at the ships, they're like astonished, they're like, wow, like sometimes too, like the brothers, even like when we're holding camp, sometimes the brother gotta tell, hey, all right, come back, get back in order, because sometimes we just, we get baffled, we get lost because we just, we're looking at the ships, and then it's like, hey, hey, we're still holding camp, get back on point, you see, because we marvel at it, see, so that's what the people of Galilee were doing. They were marveling, like, damn, because Yahushua was getting taken up right before their eyes in that tractor beam into that spaceship. Like if you guys ever seen that movie Avengers, Infinity War? Remember how Thanos, he comes back, how he comes from the spaceship, like on that blue light? That's a tractor beam. That's how Yahushua got beamed up, and that's how the elect are gonna get beamed up by that tractor beam. it's gonna the Lord and the angels are gonna beam up the elect all around the world into those spaceships. Imagine. So the world's gonna be freaking out because they're gonna be like, "Hey, it's the so-called blacks. How come the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans are getting beamed up?" You know. But you're also gonna have the the Israelites that are confusion of faces, Israelite foreigners, because they're gonna look like so-called white men, so-called white women, but they're gonna get beamed up into the ships because they're Israelites. Remember, just because you look like a so-called Caucasian doesn't mean that you're an Edomite. Because remember, it's not about color. The Israelites, we have been in slavery for thousands of years. You see that? So if you look like a so-called Asian, a so-called East Indian, a so-called Arab, a so-called white person, um, and you believe in the Lord, then you're an Israelite. All right, because it's a spirit. Because remember, we've been in slavery and scattered among the Gentiles. The natural Gentiles for a very long time. We've been underneath the rulership of the heathen for thousands of years. So, but the majority, generally speaking, are gonna look like so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. But this thing's not about color, but that's just for predominantly that's gonna be your like your that's gonna be like your main like your main portion. All right, but you're gonna have the Israelite foreigners, the confusion of faces, because because you got teachers out there that teach the word of Yahweh Shema Shai the right way, and they look like straight up so-called like Caucasians, but they're Israelites. You see, yeah, there's brothers in GMS, that look like straight up so-called. You think like, oh man, this dude looks like looks like a straight up Edomite, but he's an Israelite. See, because it's the spirit. You see, so that's why out there too, when we're out there teaching, that's why the Lord says you gotta test the spirit, because you can't just see a so-called white person and say, oh, look at this devil, because what if that person believes in the Lord, and you're talking down on one of the Lord's elect, and you don't even know. You have to try the spirit first, because you can't just look at a person and say, oh, look at this Edomite. What if that person's not an Edomite? Just because he looks like a so-called white woman and white man, what if they believe in the Lord? See that? So you gotta, kind of test the spirit, because if they believe, then hey, see, because who are you to make that call? Did you even ask him yet? Or are you just judging from outside appearance? See? All right. Acts chapter 1 verse 11. Check this out. Which also said, ye men of Galilee, which stand ye gazing up into heaven, this same Yahushai, which is taken up from you into heaven, shall so come in like manner as ye have seen him go into heaven. Right, because the same way the Lord left in the spaceship is the same way the Lord's going to come back in a spaceship. You see? Alright, same thing, same deal. Alright, but the angels were, because the angels, remember, the angels are tough. Okay, the angels are rough. They're not like, all, the angels are rough. You gotta understand that. Alright, they're mighty angels. Absolutely. So the angels were looking at, the Israelite to Galilee, like, yo, what's up? Why are you looking at the ships and why are you looking at us like that? Because to them, it's, oh, like, they're like, oh, we're just the angels, and these are just the chariots of Israel, because they see them every day. But, to the average eye down here, to the mortals, it's like, oh crap, it's just like, dang, so that's why the angels were like, yo, what's up, like, why are you guys gazing at us and at the ships? See, because imagine back then when they saw the spaceships, they were like, what the heck, it's just power beyond, so that's why the angels were like, yo, why are you guys looking at us like that, like it's just us. Because yeah, to them it's not really a big deal because they see each other all the time. They're always in those ships. But to the mortals down here, to these mortals down here in Egypt, okay, on Egypt and the planet Earth, all right, it's something big, All right, so now let's go to let's see here. Zephaniah. So follow me now to Zephaniah. Zephaniah chapter 1 and verse 14 through 18. Okay, Zephaniah chapter 1 verse 14 to the 18th verse. The great day of the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is near, it is near, and hasted greatly. Even the voice of the day of the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, the mighty man shall cry there bitterly. So the day of the Lord is very near, very near. All right, because as you can see that, this dollar is about to collapse. Okay, and these elites are about to make mandatory that chip, which is the MARK of the NW order. All right, Zephaniah chapter, the mighty man shall cry there bitterly. Remember, because the Lord is coming with so much power that it's gonna be frightful. Because you imagine, like, remember, if there's like a big old storm out here, if there's like a big old storm out here, or like a imagine like seeing a tornado or something. You're gonna be like, oh snap, you're gonna run inside the house, run for the basement, because it's powerful, So imagine like one big old tornado, people are gonna be freaking out. So imagine the Lord coming with, tornadoes and chariots and angels, removing mountains out of their places. Even the ocean's gonna get jacked up, everything's gonna move out of its place. It's not like just, okay, the Lord's gonna come with some ships, we'll be all right. No, you guys don't understand, The Lord's coming with so much power, just imagine that. Like, just take that for an example. Just consider that, Consider means to think about it. Because, just imagine, yeah, like when you have a strong hurricane, you're like, damn, you see like furniture flying all over the place. You see fences and street poles getting knocked down. You're seeing animals even getting blown down. You're seeing cars, like those big rigs getting flipped over. Like, damn, Some people, when they see that, they get all scared and they're like, hey, it's the end of the world, But because, yeah, it's powerful. It's a storm, a hurricane with strong old winds, And then sometimes, too, you even get like tsunamis where there's water like flooding the cities, and you see the waters just like, taking the cars down the street and all that. Yeah, so you imagine all that and then some, because that's just a storm. So imagine when what the Lord is gonna bring. Because remember, the Lord's coming with anger, with power. See that? So that's just a storm, and the Lord created all these elements. So imagine when the Lord is here, okay, but in war mode. Because remember, the Lord's not just gonna be here like, okay, I'm gonna have a talk with you guys. No, remember, the Lord has power of all these elements, right? And he can, and all these, and all these strong hurricanes and tornadoes is nothing compared to what the Lord has. That's just a little bit of his power. That's nothing. Like the strongest storms, the strongest hurricanes and tsunamis that this world has recorded, that's nothing compared to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai's power. Okay, he's so strong that that's why people, even the mighty, are gonna be crying, because it's that frightful, because his power is so frightful that you're crying like, damn, because it's that scary, and it's like that with a hurricane. But imagine the Lord being here, but he's not just gonna be here like, yeah, what's up, I'm the Lord, No, he's gonna be here in war mode. Remember, okay, the Lord's coming here with fierce anger. So imagine all the Lord's power, which we can't even comprehend. And then imagine he's coming in war mode. He's coming to lay people down. Remember, all his fierce anger, So the Lord's not just coming back like, all right, well, I'm just gonna take care of it. No, the Lord's coming back. He's very upset. So imagine that. So imagine the Lord, but then him using his power for war and for destruction. So you imagine what we're about to witness. That's why he tells the wicked that he's gonna destroy them in 60 minutes, 1 hour, everybody at the same time. Everybody. Yahushua is the man. He's a lion of the tribe of Judah. He's nobody to be messed with, and especially his father, our heavenly Father Yahweh. Shoot, you kidding me? It's the ultimate Jake. So this is what you gotta understand. That's what you gotta understand. So he's not just coming like, okay, no, he's coming. Imagine all his power, but then he's gonna use that power to destroy, and because he's gonna be in war mode, you know, with fierce anger. You imagine it's gonna be off the charts. You know, that's why this is exactly why in Saint Matthew, how when we started off this lesson, this is why the Lord is gonna beam up the elect into those spaceships, because the elect have to be off this planet, because the Lord is gonna jack everybody up so bad that the elect have to be in out. They have to be in outer space and a spaceship, because everybody else is not gonna survive. Only the top elites that the Lord wants for slaves. You know, the angels will protect them only for they can be the first crops in slavery. But everybody else, damn, you know, and I mean that, you know, damn. That's why second Ezra said woe to the inhabitants of the earth. You know what I'm saying? Because yeah, just because imagine that power. Because you know people put like the Lord in a box, they don't really consider it. You know, so this is why Ezra said, "Woe is me." You know, woe unto the inhabitants in that time. You know, because even Habakkuk said that. You know, because when he saw the Lord, Ezra and Habakkuk saw that. So Habakkuk was so scared that he thought that the Lord was gonna take him out. You know, because the Lord, remember, when the Lord gets here, he's just gonna start slaying. You know, it ain't like a Hollywood movie where the Lord's gonna come all slow and, hey, I'm the Lord, you guys. You know, nah. The Lord, as soon as the Lord, remember, the Lord's a mighty warrior. As soon as the Lord gets here, he's just gonna start slaying. There's not gonna be one word. He's just gonna let that battle shout cry. Because when the Lord gets here, he's gonna be standing on top of the spaceship. He's not even gonna be inside. He's gonna be standing on top, because that's how mad the Lord is. He can't wait to get down here and kick ass. Excuse my Italian. Oh yeah, absolutely. So he's gonna let out that war cry, you know, like that shout, and then that's it. You know, he's just gonna go down the hole and start slaying Yahweh Shai, the Lion of the tribe of Judah. But this is why Habakkuk said, "In wrath, remember mercy," because Habakkuk was like, "Dang, remember me, you know, remember me, like, you know, like don't take me out, because remember the elect is a small number compared to the world." So, cause remember, in every city there might be only 2 or 3 people that are gonna get saved. Maybe not even in some cities. Not even there might not even be no elect. So, you know, from the inward looking up, it's gonna look like the Lord is just taking everybody out. See, but because the elect are a small number amongst the world, you know, they're still, you know, like in the millions, but we're scattered. You know, Lord willing, I'm part of that elect. You know, but that's the thing. So that's why even Habakkuk said, "And wrath, remember mercy," because he was like, dang, because he thought the Lord was gonna take him out, because that's how fast, you know, like you ever been like out somewhere, and you know, like you guys got in a fight with your friends, you know, and then your friend was fighting so much that, you know, you try to stop it, and then he kind of hit you a couple times, like, "Hey, it's me," you know, like, "Hey, stop," you know, because like, you know, because your friend, like, he's like in rage mode, you know, he's just seeing red. You know, so even when you try to break it up, he even hits you a couple of times. You gotta tell him, like, "Hey, it's me," you know, like, "Hey, calm down, it's me," you know, because he's just like fighting everybody, you know. That's how the Lord's gonna be, because that's why Habakkuk was like, "Yo, it's me, it's your servant," you know, like, don't take me out, don't take me out, because when the Lord gets here, he's gonna go straight warrior mode, okay, straight God of War mode on these simpletons out here. That's what you gotta understand. You know, he ain't gonna waste no time. That's why he really tells us. Uh, he told John the Revelator to write it down. All right, and Revelation chapter 18. He told us three times. Okay, Revelation 18, that he's gonna destroy the wicked in 1 hour. All right, and he could do it faster too, but it's not so fast where you can't even see it. So it's just fast enough, you know, because the Lord doesn't want it to be that long, because the Lord wants to destroy him already. All right, so one hour is just enough time for you to see a good ass whooping, because it's not too long, because the Lord can't stand to look at him, so the Lord wants to destroy him already, but it's not too fast where like you couldn't even see it, you know. So an hour, like, you know, you imagine like when you watch like a UFC fight, a boxing fight, an hour is a long time, you know. An hour is a long time, you know, when you watch those UFC fights or a boxing match, you know, you have 12 rounds. and then you have 3 or 4 minutes per round, right? See that? So what is that? What, like, but you have commercials and stuff like that, breaks, right? Or whatever. But so imagine that. It's like what, 30, 40 minutes? So an hour is a good time, so you're gonna see a good showdown, so to speak. It's not too fast where like you're like, I didn't even see nothing. Because the Lord, remember, the reason why the Lord is gonna punish the wicked so bad, because he wants you to see his power. Okay, because the Lord is gonna put respect on his name. So that way when the Israelites have their kingdom, we have our kingdom, which is here in the near future, people are gonna know to fear the Lord. Like, yup, don't even try to fight against the Lord. Because you remember what happened to Esau's bitch ass and the heathen? Because people are gonna know, like, yup, like, damn, like, yeah, we ain't going against the Lord. Hell to the nah. Because the Lord's gonna make an example. Yeah. So an hour is like not too fast, but not too slow. Because the Lord's like, oh, I'm not gonna give you too much time because I can't stand and look at you, but not too fast because I still want the elect, because the elect are gonna be watching the wicked, you guys getting your guys' behind kick from the spaceships, because all the elect are gonna be watching, the children too, the men, women, and children. Because remember, Leviathan's gonna come out of the ocean. The demons are gonna be attacking people. The angels are gonna be attacking people. The Lord, the 144. It's a lot. Okay, so the elect are gonna be watching from the spaceships. Yep, the wicked, just get trampled down, because the Lord tells us in Psalms 91 that only with thy eyes shall they see the reward of the wicked. You see? All right. So with our eyes, we're gonna see the reward of the wicked. Huh? All right. So let's continue on. Zephaniah chapter 1 verse 15. That day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress. See? Wrath. That day is a day of wrath. See, he's coming with fierce wrath. A day of trouble and distress. A day of wasteness and desolation. See, wasteness. The Lord's coming to lay everybody and the land flat. A day of darkness and gloominess. A day of clouds and thick darkness. A day of the trumpet and alarm against the fenced cities and against the high towers. See that? Verse 17, and I will bring distress upon men, that they shall walk like blind men, because they have sinned against the Lord. Right, because the Lord is blinding the wicked. This is why they're full of pride. They think that they're gods now, and they think that they actually want to fight the Lord. So the Lord has them in derision, meaning a trick bag. And their blood shall be poured out as dust, and their flesh as the dung. So yeah, does that sound like God's all love? No. All right, the Lord hates the wicked. You gotta understand that the Lord's coming down to trample down the Edomites, heathen, and 2/3 of you wicked Israelites who who want to join forces with Esau. Remember, the Lord don't care about that. The Lord's gonna lay you down with Esau. It's no problem to the angels. And to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Verse 18, neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath. So you can't bribe the Lord, okay? You can't tell the Lord, come on, I was just playing, come on, hey, come on, what do you want, $1 billion? $1 billion. You can't bribe the Lord, you kidding me or what? With some FRNs that are about to collapse, huh? You can't bribe the Lord. You know what I'm saying? So it's already set, You can't say, oh well, let's go to negotiations, Let's work out some kind of deal. Hell no. Okay, it's already set. The Lord's gonna trample them down, and then they're going to slavery. That's it, But the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of a jealousy. Yeah, because the Lord's very upset. Okay, especially at you 2/3, because He created you, and you're choosing to join up with Esau. See that? So the Lord's like, I created you. I'm your power, and you're going against me. That's kind of like bad kids, bad children, who who had good parents, who raised them and was good to them, And then those kids and children, when they're like teenagers, they're like, oh yeah, those are not my parents, you know. So your parents are gonna feel like, what? Like, what do you mean? Like, we took care of you, we fed you, everything. See? So that's how the Lord feels. The Lord's like, what? Like, what do you mean? I created you, I fed you everything. Now you're gonna join forces with Esau and say, forget him? That's why the Lord's like, well, fine then. Have it your way, fine. Be like that. So that's why the Lord's like, fine. You imagine? So the Lord's like, fine. Well, you're gonna turn your back on me then? Well, I'm gonna turn my back on you. See that? It's real simple, son. And for he shall make even a speedy riddance. Yeah, so the Lord's gonna make a speedy riddance, meaning destruction. Okay, a speedy riddance, because riddance means destruction of all them that dwell in the land. See that? That's it. So the Lord is not gonna waste time, basically. All right, let's go to Amos. Okay. All right, so now we're gonna go to Amos. Let's see here. All right, so now we're gonna go to Amos, chapter 5, verse 18, and down to the 20th verse. Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord. So Amos is saying, yeah, woe unto you, because a lot of you don't know the Lord. These wacky tacky Christians says all you gotta do is believe in Jesus Christ and that's it, you're saved. Okay, first of all, his name's not Jesus Christ. His name is Yahushua, and second of all, you're not saved. We're not out of the woods yet. We still got a lot of things that we gotta endure. There's a lot that we still gotta endure. It's what you have to understand. See that? You still gotta go through martial law. Betrayals, World War III, pestilence. There's all kinds of stuff coming down the pipe. The day of the Lord is darkness. To what end is it for you? See that? Because a lot of people, you guys think that it's gonna be good. That, oh yeah, the Lord's coming and we're good. You're not good. You don't even know the Lord. Okay, you're in loser denial. The day of the Lord is darkness and not light. See, the day of Yahweh is darkness and not light. So the whole part of the second coming is to kill people. This is what you don't understand. This is what your pork chop eating preacher is not going to tell you, in case you didn't get the memo. All right, yeah, there's going to be salvation of the elect, but everybody else, woe unto thee. Verse 19, and as if a man did flee from a lion, and a bear met him, or went into the house and leaned his hand on the wall, and a serpent bit him. So that means that if you escape from a lion, a bear is going to meet you. If you escape from the bear, a serpent's going to get you. So basically, there's no escape. All right, there's no escape. Shall not the day of the Lord be darkness and not light? See? Even very dark and no brightness in it. See that? So, yeah, it's going to be a very terrible day. A very, very terrible day, especially if you're not part of that elect. Because even the elect, okay, they're scarcely going to be saved. So yeah, they're going to be saved, but it's going to be frightful because there's going to be all these things happening. You see? With plagues, the left-hand side rolling, putting people in guillotines, shooting people down out here in the streets, because they have militias and sleeper cells, all right, everywhere, you know what I'm saying? So it's going to be, a heavy time, a very heavy time. So 2 Kings chapter 6, verse 15. And we're going to go down to the 17th verse. And when the servant of the man of the Most High Yahweh was risen early and gone forth, behold, and hosts compassed the city both with horses and chariots. And your servant said unto him, At last, my master, how shall we do? And he answered, Fear not, for they that be with us are more than they that be with them. Verse 17, and Elisha prayed and said, Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, I pray thee, open his eyes, that he may see. And the Lord opened the eyes of the young man, and he saw, and behold, the mountains was full of horses and chariots, and a fire round about Elisha. Okay, so this is what you got to understand. Okay, this is what you have to understand, because you know, there's more angels, okay, than there are with the righteous, than there are with the wicked, because there are left-hand angels. All right, starting with Satan on the left-hand side. All right, so you have left-hand angels. All right, you do have wicked angels out there. All right, but you know you have to understand that Yahweh Shai is the top angel on the right-hand side, and there's right-hand angels. You know, starting with Michael. Michael. Well, Yahweh Shai first. Michael. You know, Gabriel, Uriel. All right, Raphael. This is what you gotta understand. So there's the righteous. You guys, you know, have plenty of help. There's a lot of help, because what you can't see, all right, what you can see is greater than what you can see. But you gotta understand. So, you know, there's just because you can't see the angels, don't mean that they're not there. Okay, the angels are always here. But you have to understand, the angels are always right here. Zechariah chapter 5, verse 1 down to the 3rd verse. Zechariah chapter 5, verse 1 down to the 3rd verse. Then I turned and lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll. What does that mean? That Zechariah saw a flying roll, that he saw a flying piece of bread? No, that means that he saw a spaceship, okay, a so-called UFO, a chariots of Israel. And he said unto me, What seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof is 10 cubits. So he's just saying, you know, how it looked like, because it looked like a flying cigar, if you will. Verse 3, Then said he unto me, This is the curse of the whole earth. For everyone that stealeth shall be cut off, as on this side according to it. And everyone that sweareth shall be cut off, as on this, cut off, as on that side according to it. So yeah, right there. So the wicked are gonna be cut off. This is what you gotta understand. The wicked, you know, their time is up. So now follow me to now follow me to the book of Psalms, chapter 104, verse 3 and 4. Okay, so I hear the book of Psalms, chapter 104, verse 3 and 4. Who layeth the beams of his chambers, and the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariot. So there goes those clouds again. Okay, so it's not talking about your typical cloud. It's talking about the so-called spaceships, okay? The so-called UFOs. Who walketh upon the wings of the wind. See? Who maketh his angels spirits, his ministers a flaming fire. See that? So this is what you gotta understand. Alright, is that, you know, the angels are, and Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai are inside those spaceships. Is what you gotta understand. Those are the vehicles of the Lord and his angels. See? So now let's go to Second Esdras. Okay, Second Esdras chapter 8 verse 21. Whose throne is inestimable, because you can't measure the Lord's throne. Whose glory may not be comprehended, because you can't comprehend, you can't figure out the ways of the Lord, you know. But the left hand side, they're trying real hard, because for those of you out there, the left hand side, they're trying to make themselves gods. You know, they're trying to be immortal. They're trying to make themselves gods, and they're trying to figure out how to leave the planet Earth, because they can't. Remember, they cannot pass the Van Halen belts. They can go to the upper atmosphere only so far, but they can't pass the Van Halen belts. See that? But they want to get out of here, but they can't. So those are two major things that the left hand side. You know, we're not talking about politics. We're talking about, you know, Satanists. You know what I'm saying? You know, Illuminati. You know, Skull and Bones. You know, the left hand side, the ones who the top wizards and warlocks. You know, the druids and all them. All right, that's what they really want. They want to make themselves gods. They want to be immortal, and they also want to be able to leave this planet, but they can't. See, because that's reserved for the Israelites. This is why they hate the Israelites that much, because we got the blessing, we got the birthright, and Esau, he wants it, but too damn bad, you know. See, whose glory may not be comprehended, before whom the host of angels stand with trembling. Right, because the angels of Yahweh Shem Shai stand with trembling before the throne of Yahweh Shem Shai. You see? So if the angels stand with trembling, you know, and these simpleton mortals out here, all right, are you know, saying, oh well, you know, I don't fear the Lord. Whatever, if I go out, I go out. Well, then you imagine what's gonna happen to them. You see? And the angels, remember, one angel can destroy the whole planet, you know, but the angels stand in trembling before Yahweh Shem Shai, you know, when they come before the throne, you know. And there's some simpleton, you know, mortals out here that, you know, just like, oh well, whatever, you know, that just try to put the Lord in a box. You have any idea what's gonna happen to them? You imagine? But that's the Lord has these people puffed up with pride. You see? But that's only going to lead to their destruction. Second Esdras chapter 13 verse 1 down to the 11th verse. And it came to pass, after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the ways thereof. So right there, okay, a wind arose from the sea, because the sea's not talking about like the Pacific Ocean. It's talking about outer space. Okay, because that's why it's called a spaceship, because it's kind of like just cruising out there, you know. The outer space is like it's kind of like water out there, you know, but it's different. All right, so that's why it's a spaceship. So it's just cruising out there. You see? All right. A wind, because that wind represents destruction. It's not like your weather, you know, where Dallas Rains tells you, all right, it's going to be windy tomorrow. We're going to have rain in the forecast. No, that wind represents destruction, because the Lord's coming back with great judgments and punishments, right? Second Esdras chapter 13 verse 3. We're going to go down to the 11th verse. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. So who's that man that waxed strong? Yahweh Shai. That waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. That's the angels, because the Lord's coming back in battle formation with Michael the Archangel leading the charge. All right. That's going to come over here and overthrow the wicked. You see, because the Lord's coming from the fourth dimension, which is the spiritual realm, but the heathens and Edomites, they call it the quantum realm. You see, it's just so you guys can understand, you know, what we're talking about here. And that's why they have quantum computing, quantum physics. See that? Because they want to know about the quantum. Well, they call it the quantum realm, but it's the spiritual realm. It's the fourth dimension. Right here in the earth, this is the third dimension. And you mortals have terrestrial bodies. You see, the angels are in the fourth dimension, and they have celestial bodies. It's completely different. Second Ezra chapter 13 verse 4. And whosoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burnt that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it filleth the fire. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of a number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. See that? So yeah, this is that multitude talking about World War III, because there's gonna be millions of soldiers fighting each other out there in the Middle East. Remember that. So the Lord's gonna arrive over there first in the battle of Armageddon. Verse 6, 2nd Ezra chapter 13 verse 6. But I beheld, and lo, he had graven himself a great mountain and flew upon it. So what's that mountain? Ezra saw a mountain, meaning a so-called UFO, but he described it like it looked like a mountain, because that's how big it was. But I would have, this is Ezra's, okay, because Ezra's right here, he had a vision. All right, he's seen the Lord's return. The Lord actually gave Ezra that vision when the Lord and the angels, pulled up, when they showed up in the middle of World War III, which we're soon approaching, which is right here at our doorstep. Remember that. Second Ezra chapter 13 verse 7. But I would have seen the region or place where the hill was graven, and I could not. Okay, so this is why you have to understand that the hill. So he couldn't see where the region or place where the hill was graven. So what that means is that he couldn't see the edges. Like when you look at like a big old skyscraper and downtown, like downtown New York, wherever, Chicago, Los Angeles, San Diego, like you look at a big old building, but you can see the top, you can see the sides, you can see the edges. You're like, man, it's a big building, but you can see where it ends and where it begins, right? Okay, same thing kind of like a big old ship, like when you see like the aircraft carriers, yeah, they're real big, right? But you can see where it begins and where it ends. So it's not like too big where like your eye can't see the end of it, So Ezra was saying that when he looked up, when the Lord got here, because remember, the Lord's ship is bigger than the earth. That's literal. We're not just over glorifying it. And no, this is for real. The Lord's ship is bigger than the planet Earth. So can you imagine how much power that ship has? Just that one ship. And there's a million more. What, millions of angels? Remember, one angel can take out the whole earth. Imagine what Yahweh Shai can do. And then a lot of the angels here. What, millions of spaceships? See? So Ezra is saying right here that he couldn't see the ends. He couldn't see where the spaceship began and where it ended. That's how big it was. 2nd Ezra chapter 13 verse 8. And I beheld, and after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were so afraid, and yet there's fight. Yeah, because these nations and heathens are going to be scared to death when they see Yahweh Shai and the angels. But the Lord is going to use, a spiritual power, like MK Ultra on their minds, because some of them, they're not going to want to fight. There may be a few still that want to fight, but the majority of them, they're going to be frozen. They're like, nah, we can't fight this. No way. I just signed up for this. But the Lord is going to, like use MK Ultra, but like with spiritual power, and make them like, no, you fight me, Yeah, because the Lord wants a good fight. Remember, the Lord's a man of war. The Lord wants to fight. You got to remember that, He don't care if, because these heathens and Edomites, they can't back out. Yeah, there's some that do want to fight, but those who want to chicken out, the Lord is going to like use spiritual power, and he's going to make you come at him. Because the Lord wants to fight. Remember, Yahweh Shai is a man of war. This is what you got to understand. Our Lord ain't no punk. How you think he defeated Satan? This is what this world got, you got it misunderstood. You see, when the angels 2 days ago blew up SpaceX, all right, where was the left-hand side? Where was all you wizards at, You see? Where was Satan at? Where was Baphomet at? Where was all your guys' gods at on the left-hand side? Where was Buddha at? Let's hear it. You see? Where was Allah at? To show you that, the right-hand side, Yahweh Shai, has all power. Even over Satan. This is what you gotta understand, because he conquered Satan and the earth. This is why they can't stop the angels. How come nobody can stop the angels? Let's hear it. Oh, because they're lucky. Well, it's been so long. No one hasn't took them down. Not one. Nobody hasn't taken down one angel yet. With all these teams and military intelligence agents out here, not one person can do it. Not one military, not even the bitch ass left hand side. The Illuminati, Skull and Bones, none of you clowns can do it either. So how did Satan win? Let's hear it. To show you that you guys are all taught. The majority of you guys are just actors. And this is why we laugh, because you're not real men. You're not real warriors. Or we're surrounded by fruitcakes. And that's the real deal. 2nd Ezra chapter 13 verse 9. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war, but only I saw that he sent out of his mouth. So out of his mouth, talking about the lasers are gonna come out of those ships. Like if you guys ever seen that first movie, Independence Day with Will Smith, like that, But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. See that? So yeah, the Lord is gonna burn everybody up. Check this out. This is the last verse. 2nd Ezra chapter 13 verse 11. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which prepared to fight, and burned them up, every one. So the Lord's gonna just shoot out that big laser beam and just burn everybody up. So that a sudden of innumerable means you can't count them, because that's how many soldiers are gonna be fighting each other in this Third World War. Okay, a innumerable multitude, nothing was to be perceived. Okay, but only dust and a smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. So when Ezra saw how Yahweh and the angels started taking people down out here, all right, he was afraid. He was like, damn, woe was me. So imagine, you guys, out there in World War III, the Battle Armageddon, which is going to take place in the Middle East. All right, it's going to pretty much, there's going to be millions and millions of soldiers out there fighting each other. Jets, tanks, ground soldiers, ground troops. You're going to have all that out there. All militaries from around the world, going at it over there in the Middle East, right? So imagine how loud it's going to be, from people getting shot to, people just shouting, to missiles going off, to guns firing off, automatic guns and rifles and all that, cannons, tanks blowing, their cannons, grenades going off, helicopters shooting their missiles and, bullets and all that, from all that noise, from all these nations going at it with one another to nothing. So can you imagine how loud it's gonna be? But that's why it's called the Battle of Armageddon, because it's a mountain of troops. You see, it's a mountain of troops. So it's from the outside, if you look at it, it's gonna look just like a mountain, but it's just the troops. Because it's gonna be all these nations fighting one another in this Third World War from all over the world, from the four corners of the earth. You see? All right, so that's why it's called Armageddon, the Battle Armageddon. That means a mountain of troops, because that's how it's gonna look like, metaphorically speaking. You know what I'm saying? So imagine with all those people, all that noise, people, because you're gonna have soldiers getting injured. You're gonna have even soldiers that run out of bullets, and they're gonna have to go toe to toe, and use their knives, or even just choke someone out, kill someone with their bare hands. So there's gonna be, imagine all those shouts, because when people, remember, in war, it's all about, it's either him or you, so it's gonna be very loud, to imagine that for millions and millions of soldiers fighting one another. Remember, tanks, guns, rockets going off, to silence, because remember, the Lord is gonna just silence everybody. See that? But only dust, Let me start up a little bit. So that upon a sudden of innumerable multitude, nothing was to be perceived. Yeah, because remember, from where Ezra, he couldn't even count them because there were so many soldiers fighting each other. That's why he said they're innumerable, because he couldn't count them. Nothing was to be perceived. Okay, so after the Lord shot the Lord has a huge laser. You know, it's nothing like what you guys see in these Hollywood movies. The Lord has a big old laser. Remember, the Lord's ship is bigger than the earth. But can you imagine how big his laser is? It's huge. You know, the Lord has many weapons, not just lasers. The Lord, look at how much weapons this earth has. You mortals have. Imagine what the angels and the Lord have. The Lord, they don't just have just lasers. Okay, look at what you guys got, the heathens, guns and tanks and all that. Imagine what the angels got. You know, it's gonna hurt. This is what you gotta understand. You know, this is what you simpletons, you mortals are not considering, because the angels don't just have lasers. They have a lot of weapons. Look at how many weapons the heathen and Edomites have in this world with their tanks and jets. Imagine what semi-automatics and all that. You know, what grenade launchers and all that. Imagine what the angels have. See, that's why you gotta think about that. But only nothing was to be perceived, because the Lord shot out that laser and burned up everybody. But only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. See that? So imagine from millions and millions of people, going at it. That war shout. That war cry. Everybody just going out. Till nothing. You know what I'm saying? From everybody just going at it with one another to just silence, to just quiet. Imagine that. So he looked, all right, 1 second, and then it was just millions and millions of people. You know what I'm saying? Fighting one another. Okay, in this Third World War. Imagine that. So he couldn't even count the number of soldiers, because that's how many soldiers were fighting one another in this Third World War. Okay, imagine that. All right, you had all these people fighting each other in the Third World War, then to nothing, where it went from millions of people to nothing, like nothing. There was nobody left. So this is something you got to understand. So he said nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke, because the Lord is about to vaporize everybody, because he got them big lasers. The Lord, Yahweh Bashimel Shai, and the angels are going to be playing laser tag with you heathen and Edomites. Yeah, that's right. You know how they have laser tag and stuff? Well, the Lord and the angels are going to be playing real laser tag with you Edomites and heathens very soon. So that's it on today's lesson, on part 2 of the Chariots of Israel. So with that, stay strong, stay prayed up, on your feet, soldier. Shalom.